What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Misplayed Magic, the only Magic the Gathering YouTube channel doing giveaways based on how I draft. You'll see up on the screen here, if I get 0 wins in this draft, I'm giving away a collector booster pack to one of you, all the way down if I crush it, if I do great, if I get 7 wins, I'm giving away a draft. All you have to do is like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below on how you think I did. And on this channel, we do things a little differently. We like to draft chaotically, and with a little bit of a challenge. So we're going to spin our Wheel of Chaos and see what challenge we have for this draft. So today's challenge is the opposite of last video. Who needs rares? Last video, we had to take every single rare that we saw. Go ahead and check it out if you haven't already. But today, we cannot pick any rares at all. Let's see if we can jump into this and build a decent deck full of uncommons and commons. All right, jumping into this first pack. We can't take any rares. Hopefully we see a bad one. It's not bad. It's not fantastic. So the rare we cannot take is the Vincent Valentine. We ended up playing against this card in the last draft. It didn't go great for us there. So we can't pick the rare there, which is unfortunate, but there are some uncommons or commons that look okay. I do think Zach Fair is pretty good. I think it really shines in the red-white equipment aggro deck, so we might go that route here. I'm not a huge fan of Poison the Waters. Rufus Shinra is okay. It's a 2/4 that can make a 2/2. I think it's decent. I don't think it's anything fantastic. I don't really know that we want to be going into 3 colors to start this draft. We could also just take a Sephiroth's Intervention as like a super solid removal spell. I do think 4 mana is kind of a lot. So I don't know that we want to start our draft there. I think I'm just going to start with a Zach Fair here. I also did like the Rescue Mission a lot last draft, making a bunch of heroes, but we're going to do something different. We're going to pick up the Zach Fair here to start our day. Alright, moving along now. We cannot take Memories Returning, although I think this card is actually pretty good. I'm going to keep a lookout for maybe some other uncommons and commons we can pick. So I don't think Stolen Uniforms is good at all. It seems like super situational to me. But I will say Instant Speed, it's like kind of a combat trick. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. Sorceress's Schemes is also okay. It just feels really expensive to me. I can see a world where it costs 4 mana, so it has all those payoffs with like the red-blue spell deck. Reno and Rude is also okay. Could take a Vintage Limit Break or a Corroded by Black Mages, but I'm going to go a little weird here and take a Magitech Infantry. I think we can get a couple of these. It pairs nicely with the Zach Fair and just kind of us having a really quick, aggressive start here. Hopping on into our third selections, we've got a couple of white cards. I do think Eden's Seat of the Sanctum is pretty solid. It is really just a land that turns into a recursion spell. But I don't know if we want to pair our white cards with that. I think for me, I really want to prioritize the removal spell here. So I'm going to take the Fate of the Suncrest as a super decent removal effect. And I like that just a little bit more than the Galacat and also the land here. I don't really love, nothing else is like screaming out to me that we need to take it. So I'm going to pick that here. I will say too, Ice Magic is really good. Really, really solid. But I think because we already have 2 white cards that we like an average amount, that we're going to take the Fate of the Suncrest here. All right, now moving on into our fourth selection. There's no rares, so we're not missing anything here. So we could take the side quest Catch a Fish, which at the beginning of our upkeep, we look at the top card of our library. If it's an artifact or creature, we reveal it, put it into our hand. It's a little bit slow. I think we've got a couple of decent little aggressive cards here, so I don't really know that we want to be adding that into our deck. Gaius Van Baelsar is decent, although I don't really know that we need it here. For us, it's just kind of a 4 mana 3/2 at the moment. I think for me, I'm going to take a Haste Magic, and we're going to try and just keep the aggro Dream alive here for a second. I also think Black Mage's Rod is decent, but we're going to go with the Haste Magic here, and hopefully that's okay. Moving on into our 5th pick, we're really excited to see a white Auracite here. Really, really solid common. Removal spell helps us ramp our mana, so we don't have to be so aggressive with this deck now that we have this card. If I didn't pick that, I do think Syncopate is decent. It's like a decent counter spell if we move into like a blue-white artifact deck. The Sentinel is okay, and I really don't love anything else. Tongue Reader's alright, but I don't think this card is really that good at all. We're going to take the Aura Sight here as a super solid removal spell. And continuing through in this pack, so we could take a Summon Esper Rama. Creature does combat, deals damage equal to the number of non-creature, non-lands in our graveyard to a creature an opponent controls. So definitely can be good. I think that might be our pick. I'm not a huge fan of Ultros, especially with the deck we've started with. I will say Call Mountain Chocobo is good, is really good. I think it's really great if you're in a landfall deck, which we are not right now. So I think I'm just going to go with the summon card here, and hopefully we can get some more non-creature and non-land cards to make that really feel like a good 2-for-1 for us. Hop on into our 7th selection now. So feels like white might be getting a little bit cut off. There is a X-Death Void Warlock. When it enters, you gain 3 life, and then if there's 6 more permanent cards in your graveyard, you transform it. I don't think we have anything fantastic, but I think our white cards are decent. Maybe we'll take a side quest here. I did kind of hate on this card in the last video, but I think it actually can be okay. It doesn't feel great that it doesn't add to the board, but if we are in the red-white equipment deck, I think it could be somewhat decent. Moving on into our 8th pick, I do think the side quest Hunt the Mark is actually pretty strong. Sleep Magic is also a really good removal spell. Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum is also a pretty good removal spell, so maybe this is a sign for us to move into blue. I'm going to take the Sleep Magic here. I think there's a chance that there is some blue cards to be had here. Moving on to our 9th pick, I'm going to take the Rescue Mission here. I just think 4 mana for 3/1/1s is actually a pretty decent rate, so we're going to pick that up. Now moving on into our 10th pick, I don't love these cards. I also don't love the Iron Giant. It's like very okay. I don't love the Limit Break either. I guess we'll take the Iron Giant if we are like a really, really artifact heavy deck. And here, Ice Magic Wheeling is really good. I love this card. So I found that there's so many like job select and token creators that this often has a really, really good target for just the Blizzard effect. So we're really excited to pick that up here, and maybe a sign that we'll move into blue a little bit. Syncopate also is fantastic. So hopefully blue is open. We're reading that correctly. We might cut the red out of our deck, although I haven't totally decided yet. Here we'll take a Coral. I don't love it, but it's okay. And then happen in this next pack. Hopefully it's a bad rare. It's not bad. It's actually pretty decent. Summon Brynhilder, exile the top card of your library. During any turn, you put a lower counter on it. You can play that card. And then when we cast creature spells, so it's like a really aggressively slanted red card. We can't take it. We cannot take any rares today. So what I'm looking at is Grahatia is pretty good. If we have creatures or artifacts that are dying, we get to draw a card. So that with something like the Rescue Mission, or making a bunch of 1/1s, is actually pretty decent. I also do like the Chocomog a pretty good amount if we end up going for a more aggressive looking deck. But I think if we're pivoting into blue, which I think is the smart thing to do, I think we should just take a Grahatia. I think it's a totally fine card and a good top into our curve, and then hopefully it'll allow us to draw some cards. Moving on into our 2nd pick here. So we're not taking either of the rares. This card's insane. This card is insane. Target creature you control deals damage to each other creature, and you can cast it again. So it's like a double board clear. Would be fun if we could take that. That'd be cool, but we won't. No rares today. So instead, I'm looking at either a Crystal Fragments, which is pretty decent, a Slash of Light, a Summon Chocomog, or an Ice Magic. I think for me, I'm going to take the Crystal Fragments. I really want to try this card. I have no idea if it's good or not, but I think having an early artifact is going to prove to be pretty good with something like the Magitech Infantry. So we're going to try it here, and hopefully it's decent for us. All right, hopping on into our 3rd selection out of this pack. The rare's gone, so we're not going to have to suffer too much. Sleep Magic, really good removal spell. It taps a creature and then doesn't untap during your controller's untap step, and then when that creature is dealt damage, you sacrifice it. So we do have one of those already. I think having 2 actually would be pretty dang strong. But just looking at our creature count, we're really light on creatures. So I think that for me, I think we're going to move into kind of this white-blue deck. Just because I think that's what's been the most open. And I think the Dragoon's Wyvern is maybe my favorite common in the set. It makes a 2-1 and a 1-1, so we're going to pick that up here. It also goes well with the Grahatia, so we're going to try that here to start. Hopping on into our fourth selection. So we don't really have any 2-drops that we like. We have the Coeurl. So I think now we need to prioritize the White Mage's Staff as a really, really solid 2-drop creature. Helps you gain some life, is an artifact, so we'll go nicely. I will say we have a lot of artifacts and not a lot of artifact payoffs. Moving on into our fifth selection here. So the Gallicat is actually pretty decent. I think we have a lot of artifacts. If we can scoop up a couple of these and have a bunch of flyers, I think in this set, more than in Dragonstorm, it is hard to stop flyers. So I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the Omega Heartless Evolution. I think there's a world in which we wanted to play this, but I don't know how many towns we're going to have. Rook Turret also is decent, but I think for us, we just want to curve out and try and win that way. So I'm going to take the Gallicat here, weirdly enough. Moving on into our sixth selection. So there's no rare here, which is good. I do think now we're going to take a card like a Retrieve the Esper. It's nothing fantastic, but you make a 3/3 and a 5/5 for a total of 12 mana, which is an okay rate. It also is an artifact, so it goes with something like the Gallicat. So I think we're happy picking that up here, and hopefully we can get some artifact payoffs in one of these last packs. Moving on into our seventh pick. I don't love the Ring of Lucci. I just hate not adding to the board. Maybe it's just the way I play. Here I think we'll take another Aerith Rescue Mission as a super decent card. Moving on now into our next pick. So we could take a Cloudbound Moogle, we could take another Ice Magic, or we could take a Brainstorm. I kind of love the Ice Magic. I'm going to take it here. I don't love Brainstorm all that much. I think it's totally fine. Hopping now into our ninth selection. This is the pack we started in. There's not a lot left. I do think Crossroads Village is actually pretty good. So if we end up needing to splash, then we'll take that here. Now, Slash of Light being there late is a pretty decent sign. I think we're more than happy picking that up, especially because we have an equipment. So it could be decent with the White Mage's Staff and then a couple of creatures as well. It also is good with the Aerith Rescue Mission. Here, I guess we'll take the Windhurst Federation Center as a decent land, and then we might end up splashing. Like here, we'll just continue to take the tap lands, so that maybe if we open something in this last pack that we really want to play, it's not going to be rare, but like an uncommon we really want to play, we might have access to be able to do that. Here, I mean, we'll take a Sahagin. I do not love it. Magic Pot is also not great. And in the last pack, our rare is Yuna, Hope of Spira, which actually you probably wouldn't take. It's really good with if you have like maybe 3 enchantment creature sagas, but we don't have any. So cards I'm looking at now, the Shantoto's Coercion is decent. I think tutors are not fantastic in limited, so I'm looking at either an Eject or a Fate of the Suncrest. I think we're going to take an Eject here. I think it's a super solid kind of removal effect and card draw effect, so we're happy picking that up. I will say we are super, super light on creatures at the moment. Hopping on into our second pick, I do think Summon Primal Odin is really strong. Really, really strong, but it's a rare, so we cannot take it here. I'm looking at either a Ultros Obnoxious Octopus or a White Mage's Staff. So I actually think we're going to take the Ultros, and we're going to try it out for a second tier, because we have things like the Retrieve the Esper, the White Auracite, the Fate of the Suncrest, the Aerith Rescue Mission. I'm actually going to try out the Octopus here. I think it'll be decent to put some stun counters on things, and then we do have abilities to cast spells for 8 mana, so we're going to try that out here. Moving on into our third pick, the Cargo Ship is pretty decent. Battle Menu is also pretty good, and we could take another Gallicat. I'm going to start laying out our curve just so we can kind of look at our creature count here. We have a ton of spells. I'm going to leave in the cards that create creatures, because that kind of counts to me. But I think you'll notice pretty quickly that we don't have a ton of 2-drop creatures. So I think for me, it probably makes sense for us to take the Cargo Ship here over something like another removal spell. We have so many spells already. Hopping into our fourth pick. So we could take another Cargo Ship, or we could take a Snowvilliers, which is actually pretty decent. with all of our 1/1 creatures we might end up making. We also could just take another Dragoon's Wyvern as a really good common. Just makes a 2/1 and a 1/1. So kind of a tough call here. I do think I'm going to go with the Wyvern here, as crazy as that sounds. I just like it a little bit more. I think the way that we're going to win games is going to be by putting out flyers. Moving on into our 5th selection here. So I don't think we're going to be playing either of these tap lands. We could take another Retrieve the Esper. We could take a Paladin's Arms, or we could take another Magitech Infantry. I do think that a serious win condition of ours might just be beating down. So I'm going to take a Magitech Infantry here just for that potential upside. I don't know that we're going to be playing the Zach Fair, but I'll leave it in for now. Moving on into our 6th selection. So I do think You're Not Alone is actually pretty decent. We do have a bajillion spells. Slash of Light is also pretty good if we just have a lot of creatures and we're going super wide. Rook Turret's all right. Yeah, I think we're going to go... It's tricky. I'm going to go with the You're Not Alone here. I think us just making a lot of creatures and then trying to surprise our opponents with lethal is like a super valid win condition for this deck. Moving on to this next pack, I'm going to take a Cloudbound Moogle. I don't feel great about it, but putting a counter onto like a Dragoon's Wyvern actually doesn't feel horrible. Here we'll take another Aerith Rescue Mission. We don't really have any great payoffs for going super wide, but we're going to try it here. Now, I think we're totally fine taking a Scorpion Sentinel as a passable 2-drop that eventually turns into a 4/4. It also is an artifact. Now, I don't love Sages, Nuliths. I don't think it's that good. Here, I do think Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum is actually pretty solid. So look, we have a ton of removal spells, a decent curve out, and hopefully we can sneak out some wins today. Here, I'm actually very excited to pick out another Ice Magic. 3 is kind of insane though, so maybe we won't play all 3. Alright, so here is a deck we're rocking with today. It's a weird-looking artifact beatdown deck, question mark. But we're going to hop into it, see if we can't get a couple wins here. We've got a ton of removal effects, a decent creature curve, and hopefully we can steal some wins here. Let's jump into it. Alright, hopping into this first game, our opponent goes first. I do think we keep this. Magic Infantry on 1 is decent. We aren't going to find another artifact quite yet, but potentially we can go get the other one out of our library. Whoa! Cloud Midgar Mercenary for equipment card reveal, party hand shuffle. Okay, so that's pretty good. Pretty good. So they kind of just get a 2-for-1 by going and getting an equipment card. Let's see what they get. They got the Mass Immune, which actually is like fine. I don't think that card is that good. So I think we're going to offer a trade here. And if they want to block with their Cloud, I think we're okay with that. They do not. And then next turn we can potentially Slash of Light if we want to. Buster Sword is really good. So I think we're going to let them pay to equip that next turn, and then we will Slash of Light. I think it's probably going to be our best bet, and we'll just continue attacking here. So I do think now we're going to wait for them to attack, and then we're going to Fate of the Suncrist, because I'm a little worried they might have a removal spell, and they might kill something with the Slash of Light, and then we can't kill the Cloud. So that's why I let them equip and then waited until they attacked with it. And now next turn we can play a Retrieve the Esper. Suplex is pretty good, so we can't go and get our other Magitech Infantry, unfortunately. We'll just play our 4-mana 3/3. Samurai's Katana is pretty good. Looks like they're not going to be attacking us. So I think now we'll just play out our Cloudbound Moogle and put the 1/1 counter on the artifact creature that we have, and then get our opponent down to 10. And then hopefully not totally run out of gas here. So I think we're fine taking the 6 here. It's not ideal. It's not ideal, but it's also not the total end of the world. Okay, it's the end of the world. They can play a Gilgamesh and go get another equipment, then attach it to the Gilgamesh. So we're pretty toasted here. I do think we'll just play out all of our cards. So play a Scorpion Sentinel. I do think we want to... Yeah, we have to tap down the Gilgamesh here. That is unfortunate. So they can put it back into their hand. That is a bit of a bummer. So I guess we don't attack, and we have to just try and block their hero here so that they cannot cast the Gilgamesh for free again, although they might just cast it. So they're going to play their Mass Immune, and then I assume they're going to equip it. It also gets First Strike, which is really strong. So I do think now we have to just block everywhere, and then we'll Slash of Light to just get... Okay, so I didn't totally mess that up. I was really close to, though, to just get rid of their creature. Eject is decent. So I do think we'll start by attacking. And then we'll probably just eject whatever they put all of the equipments onto this turn. I assume it's going to be their Ambrosia Whiteheart. So we're going to attempt to eject it here. We draw a land, which is not great. Queen Brawn is not incredible for us. I do think now we'll just play out our other Retrieve the Esper. So we are going to attack everywhere. Our opponent is down to 5. We'll play our other Retrieve the Esper, and hopefully we can hang on here. We can add the Crystal Fragments to the Cloudbound Moogle, which feels somewhat decent. Ring of the Lucci is good, but... Oh yeah, I guess they can do that and equip the Buster Sword, which is pretty solid. And then they can play their Gilgamesh again, which is pretty good. I will say, though, if we draw a land, we have lethal. I take that back immediately because they drew a thing with job select. So we're so close to winning, but we just can't at the moment. So I do think now we will just play out. So I think we'll start by attacking. We'll attack with our Cloudbound Moogle. And then we'll just play our Magitech Infantry into our Galacat here. And we will attach the equipment to the Sentinel, because they're going to have some trampling effects here that are not going to feel fantastic for us, because they have the Samurai's Katana. All we have to do is keep the Cloudbound Moogle alive, though, so we have a chance. So they are going to give the Gilgamesh the trample here. We are going to literally sack our entire board and then try and kill them with our Cloudbound Moogle. So No! That gives them lethal! Oh my gosh, we had exactly enough to get it to stop them. So, oh my gosh, we were so close. We died by exactly 1 point of damage because they pulled the Red Mage's Rapier, or the whatchamacallit, the Coral Sword. Oh my gosh, we were so close, and we go down. We go down. We're 0-1. Oh, our opponent had a lot of rares. We had no rares, and we still almost won. All right, hopping into this next game, we go first. We'll keep this. We've got the Dragoons, Wyvern on 3, Ice Magic and Ejector, both totally fine spells here. They've got a Cecil Dark Knight, which is pretty dang good. So they are going to start hitting themselves, though, which is decent for us. And then us having the Ice Magic in hand is pretty good if they do end up transforming that. So I think we're fine with letting them kind of hurt their life total a little bit here, and then eventually either ejecting or Ice Magicking the Cecil Dark Knight. Wow, they did not want the Ultima or the Chocobo Racetrack, which is a little bit concerning. So I think we're okay with our opponent taking a bit of a hit there. And now we'll just play out our Dragoon's Wyvern. And then I'm going to let them just keep attacking into us and dealing 2 points of damage to themselves. And then when they flip it over for the lifelink effect, we'll be able to get rid of it. So they are going to Chocobo kick our Dragoon's Wyvern, but really interesting interaction I didn't think about is because it did damage, they didn't lose 2 points of damage. So they're going to be down to 14, which is actually not that good. So now we're just going to play out our Dragoon's Wyvern and just keep letting them continue to hit us here. I think we actually are okay attacking. If they want to trade with our token, that is fine by me. And now they're going to be really close to transforming this. And then when they do, we can just get rid of it with one of our removal spells. So they are going to continue attacking us. They'll be down to 11 here. And I think that now what we are going to do is... Let me make sure I'm reading this correctly. So left hand is less than or equal to half. You untap it and transform it. So I think that now we just start by attacking everywhere. I'm going to let them take their life total down even more if they want to with the Cecil. And we are just going to play out our cargo ship and then keep up either the Suck and Summoner Sanctum or the Ice Magic. Because they're still going to be taking 2 points of damage if they want to transform it, which feels bad. Our opponent is getting to look through their deck a decent amount here. They're putting back a Blitzball Shot and a Grand Pulse Ochu. And they are going to transform it. So they go down to 5. So let's put this back in their hand. And then if we draw... So the way this works, we just have lethal. So we can put this back in their hand. We can crew the cargo ship with one of our heroes next turn. And we have exact damage here, which is nope. I think that is why people are a little bit nervous about the Cecil Dark Knight, just because you saw here, like, they killed themselves for me, and then I got rid of their lifelinker. So, we'll take those. We're not 1-1. All right, jumping into this first game, I do think we'll keep this. Jumping into this third game. We're not on the play, which is unfortunate, but I think we have a decent curve out in front of us. We can go cargo ship into the Ultros, which feels decent. Nothing incredible, but also nothing too shabby either. And we can play the Ultros, and then we can start tapping stuff down with the Aerith Rescue Mission, which I think is going to feel pretty decent for us. So we are going to play that here. And then crew with our Octopus and attack for 2. And then I do want to draw land next turn, because then we can play the Aerith Rescue Mission and get a bunch of value, tapping something down, making 3/1/1s, and still attacking with the cargo ship. So our opponent looks like they're missing their land drops, which is unfortunate for them, but fortunate for us. They are going to play Thunder Magic, dealing 2 damage. I think we actually want to save this. Is that crazy? Yeah, let's save it. Let's do it. Because then we can start tapping down stuff if we draw an untapped land. Huge. So now we can play the Aerith Rescue Mission. We'll make 3/1/1s. We'll tap down the Sabotender. We will crew with one of the heroes. And then attack for 4. And attempt to just beat down. So I do find that typically when your opponent is not drawing lands, you need to try to punish them as quickly as possible. And I think that us being able to tap stuff down is pretty good. Having another Aerith Rescue Mission is really great, so drawing a land was just fantastic there. Samurai's Katana is good. We'll see if they want to attack us with it. They do, which is pretty aggressive. I think we're okay taking 3 here. And now we will just play another rescue mission. I am going to tap down the... This is a quick 5. Yeah, we'll tap down this hero. Tap down the 3/3. We will crew, and then just continue attacking here. And then I don't really want to play the Sleep Magic. I think if they play a good threat now, we can still play the Sleep Magic, and it's really strong because the Sabotender is not a great blocker on this board. They are not going to play anything, so we're going to play out our Dragoon's Wyvern. We're going to crew the cargo ship, and then just attack everywhere. Keep doing what we've been doing. I don't really feel the need to tap down their Sabotender. If it wants to trade with our Octopus, I think that's okay. Looks like they do have a Slash of Light, which is decent, albeit not fantastic. And they are down to 3. We've got a removal spell in hand, a Wyvern that can fly, and a bunch of 1/1, so hopefully this is enough to get it done here. Summon Primal Garuda is pretty strong, but not quite enough. So we get there again in game number 3 here. Our deck is doing the thing to start. So we will tap down the Garuda. And we get there. All right. 2-1 now. All right, jumping into this next one. Our opponent goes first. I don't think this hand is all that good. We don't really have anything until we can play the Retrieve the Esper. We've got a decent artifact. We're on the draw. We could draw some action, but if we draw a bunch of land, it's kind of a disaster. Let's keep it. I think if we draw a 2-drop or a 3-drop, it's actually pretty solid. It's a little bit risky, for sure, but I think going down to 6, it could be much worse than this. So we'll try it out. We've only got 16 lands, so hopefully we don't draw a million of those. I do think we'll play out the Crystal Fragments as well. It's totally fine to have that on the battlefield. And equipping for 1 feels pretty good. Alright, we don't draw a 2-drop or a 3-drop there, so hopefully we'll draw 1 next turn. It does look like we might counter something here, though, I will say. Alright, we continue to draw lands, which was worst case scenario, unfortunately. We do have the Aura Sight, which is decent, but we just can't really penalize our opponent at all if we're playing nothing through turn 3. And they're continuing to play nothing. We'll play Retrieve the Esper. Like, if they want to use Removal Spell on this, sure. Take away our 3/3. Wow, they play nothing again? What is going on over there? Cloudbound Moogle is not great. I think now we'll just play the White Auracite. We'll take down the Cloudbound Moogle, and then this way we're ramping our mana, and we can still play an Ice Magic on their turn. So I'm not going to equip us with the Crystal Fragments quite yet, but we are actually really close to being able to transform this. The Ienos Yay Galvis is pretty good. I'm going to enter, choose a creature, and then when that creature leaves the battlefield, it gets to transform, and it transforms into an 8/8 with flying. So that's pretty solid. I don't think we want to bounce that to our opponent's hand, but I do think we want to play our Sleep Magic on that. We could also just play our Crystal Fragments here. I think it makes more sense for us to tap it down. I think that creature is enough of a threat to warrant us doing that, and then we will attack with our 4/4. And then we'll end our turn there. So I do think now it's going to be worth it for us to save our Robot Warrior, because what I'm realizing is this will transform if this dies. So I'm going to save our Robot here, so that they don't get to transform it. That was kind of a blunder on my part, but that's okay, we're learning. And then now I do think we will start by attacking with our 4/4. And then we will transform our Crystal Fragments here. I think that's better than playing the Retrieve the Esper. Although maybe having a 5/5 out there wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. We can keep up the Ice Magic. Yeah, let's do that. And then we still have the Ice Magic if anything gets too crazy on their turn. Summon Primal Odin is good. It's really good. So I think we probably just lose to that, because I don't know how we're going to stop that, especially because they can give it flying next turn. So they didn't figure out that they could destroy this and their thing would still transform. So that's good for us. The bummer for us is going to be that we can't really block that super well. I will say a 3/5 with reach is not the worst thing in the world. So I do think that we will start by attacking. If they want to trade, that's fine by me. And then we'll play our Graha Tia here, and then keep up the Ice Magic if things go sideways. We also can cast this for the Blizzara effect. So I'm trying now to debate, do we want to trade with that? Or do we want to put it on the top or the bottom of their library? So Cloudbound Moogle is interesting for us. So I do think now we are okay with... Yeah, so I think if they have nothing else, we just have lethal now. So I'm going to block like this. It doesn't deal damage to us, so we don't lose. And then we will return the Cloudbound Moogle on the top or the bottom of their library. And then we will deal 4 damage if they have nothing else. If they have something else, we're in trouble. But we'll deal 4, and then they'll lose 2 with this upkeep. So I'm going to try to attack here. And I think we just win? Question mark? We'll make some 1/1s. And end our turn. And we get there! They kill themselves! This is huge! Huge! The run stays alive. We are 3-1 now on the day. Alright, moving on into our next game. We are on the draw here, but I do like this hand a decent amount. We've got a White Mage's Staff on 2 into a Retrieve the Esper eventually. I also like having an Ice Magic. Drawing the Fragments is cool there too, so now we can equip that onto the hero we make with the White Mage's Staff. So things could certainly be going worse here. Hopefully they don't counter this. They do not. Could still kill it. Alright, so we get that online, which is good. And then next turn, we'll probably just spin this turn equipping. It doesn't feel fantastic, but we can equip. We can hold up the Ice Magic, and we're attacking for 3 here. So it looks like they don't have a removal spell. I will say, everyone we've been playing today has been playing really slowly. Like, no turn 1, 2, or 3 plays is kind of crazy. So we're going to start by just attacking. Gaining some life, doing some damage, and then I'm a little conflicted. We either want to play Retrieve the Esper or the Aerith Rescue Mission. I think I'm going to play the Retrieve the Esper here. Wow, they had nothing to play on our turn either, which is kind of crazy. And then next turn we can play the Cloudbound Moogle and potentially make one of these into a bigger threat. Maybe they were just looking for a forest that whole time. But now that we have a decent board presence and a removal trick in the Ice Magic, I feel pretty okay about that. So here I do think we will Ice Magic the hero, which is again why I just love that card so much. I think it's really, really, really good because of how many times our opponents are going to be creating a 1/1 hero. We will attack for 6 and then play out our Wyvern. Okay. Queen Aku Gourmet is decent. We draw a removal spell at the perfect time. We're going to tap that down and attempt to attack everywhere for lethal. And we get there again! We are speed running this thing. We're now 4-1. Alright, hopping into this next one. I do think we'll keep this. We can go Cargo Ship on 2 into the Wyvern on 3 and attack with the Cargo Ship. So certainly could be a worse opening hand for us here. We're going to start with an island. Our opponent has got a forest to start. Now I do think we'll just play out our Cargo Ship. Next turn we've got the Wyvern. We can attack for a couple. And then, eventually we'll draw plains. I don't feel too pressed for it at the moment. Opponent has got a Gubu Gardener, which is good. Hopefully that doesn't mean they're going to be ramping to something too crazy. We'll just start by attacking for 2. Magitech Armor is pretty good. So they're going to be able to potentially crew with that 1/1. So I definitely did ramp into that, which is not bad. We draw another island, which is less than ideal. So I think now we probably just want to attack for 4 in the sky. And then, I don't really feel the need to sleep magic their Gubu Gardener. So I think we're okay just holding for a second. And then hopefully we can draw some more action next turn. We also can Ice Magic, potentially what they play here. So they're going to crew their Magitech Armor here. Again, I just don't feel like us putting that on the top of the bottom of the library is that good. Because then they make another 1/1, and that feels like some decent value for them. Weapons Vendor also, though, is pretty good in terms of if I put that on top of their library, they get to draw another card. Looks like they did get a land as well there. So I think we're not gonna do anything. I guess we could get rid of the token, although that also feels pretty bad. I think we're supposed to do something. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the Gubu Gardener on top of their library. Hopefully, I don't think they had a land until they drew it here. So hopefully they have like a bunch of 6 and 7 mana cards in their hand. This is a little bit risky, but I just don't want to put the armor or the weapons vendor on top of their library so that they can then draw another card. And here we've got a Scorpion Sentinel, which is decent. We're just going to continue attacking with our flyers here. We will crew with the Sentinel. And then we will attack for 4. Nothing fantastic, but they just have Vigilance, which is nice, so we can keep it up as a blocker as well. I don't feel the need to Sleep Magic their weapons vendor at the moment. Bard's Bow is certainly decent, just in terms of stopping our reach creatures. I do think they're probably going to keep it on the creature they have it. It's equipped 6, which is a bunch. So that's a pretty good target for our Sleep Magic here. They are going to crew with the Magitech armor, and I assume they will attack us there. Which is fine. We'll take 4. I guess they could put the Bard's Bow on the weapons vendor, so that actually is pretty decent. So we'll take 8 here. Or maybe they'll just leave it up so they can block our stuff. I don't know. We'll see what they do. Yes, they are going to just attack with the 4/4. So I think that means we want to Sleep Magic on the weapon vendor. I will say they can move that equipment around, which doesn't feel fantastic, but it allows us to attack for a little bit this turn at least. Grand Pulse Ochu is decent, although not fantastic on this current board. We draw another Dragoon's Wyvern, which is really interesting. So let's Sleep Magic the weapons vendor so that we can attack in the sky. We are fighting off only blue mana and blue cards, by the way, which is kind of hilarious. I am going to play out our Dragoon's Wyvern here. And then I'm going to crew with that so that we can attack with our 1/1 token. We're going to crew with the Summoning Sick token. We'll be driving that ship for us. And then we'll attack for, as it stands, 6. I assume they're going to block our Sentinel and our Hero to just minimize their damage. Yep. And they will take 4. And then if we draw a white source, it'd be so nice. We could just take whatever they put the reach equipment onto. We can just take that out. And then we will have lethal next turn. So that's kind of the dream here. We'll see what they do on their turn. Wow, so they're going to crew the Magitech armor here, which is, I think, a mistake. Unless they have something like really cool here. Because they can attack us for 6. Unless they go double, +3/+3 and trample. Oh, that works too. Yeah, we'll just lose. Yep. Okay, so we exactly lose. Not a mistake. They were doing the right thing. I don't think we block there. I think that we assume it's early enough in the format that somebody might make a mistake like that, but we go down, unfortunately. Jumping into our 7th game here. Alright, hopping into this next one, our opponent goes first. We have got no creatures, but a ton of ice magic, which is decent. If we draw into action, it would be okay. But if we don't, it's really bad. Man, let's try it. What the heck? I hate going down to 6 cards. Maybe I hate it too much that I don't do it. But drawing a Dragoon's Wyvern is great. So now we've got a 3 mana play, in addition to some ice magics here. Now, I do think we're going to discard the You're Not Alone. It's just not doing so much for us here in this hand. And unfortunately, we don't have a great target for our ice magic, because we don't want them getting that Heck Dies back. But I do think next turn, having the Dragoon's Wyvern would be good, that we are able to block it, at least somewhat effectively. Do we want to return that to our opponent's hand? We're probably supposed to. Because it slows them down so much, and it uses our mana the most efficiently. So I'm actually going to. I'm going to do the responsible thing here and put that back in their hand. And then we will just play out our Wyvern here. We did also draw the Gala Cat, so hopefully we can see one of our artifacts here shortly. So that turns into a 3/3 with Vigilance. Shambling Seath again. Like, I think that was good. I think we slowed them down a little bit there. We draw another land, which is not super ideal. I do think we'll start by just attacking everywhere. If they want to trade with our 1/1, that is fine by me. Yep. And then we'll play out our Flying Cat. And our plan of have a bunch of flyers is in full effect here. Scorpion Sentinel is not incredible. So they've got 5 mana up. I would assume it's a removal spell. So maybe we're actually supposed to play the Sentinel first. And then we'll just keep up the Ice Magic. My thought here is, okay, maybe they didn't have a removal spell. I would want them to remove one of those things before they remove the Cloudbound Moogle. And this way, too, if we draw an artifact next turn, we're giving this +2/+0. But potentially a misplay there. Having the Moogle out would be a little bit stronger. We would have done a little bit more damage as well. Summon Fenrir is good. So definitely ramping into something. So we might have played that a little wrong, but we're learning. We're figuring things out. Magitech Infantry is so interesting. So I think we're supposed to play it. And then we can attack with the Gala Cat and the Wyvern. So we're doing 5. And then we can keep up either the Ice Magic or the getting the other Magitech Infantry from our deck and put it on the battlefield. I think we took 2 of these. Did we take 1 of these? I think we took 2. I'm pretty sure we took 2. If we took 1, I'm going to be so sad if I go search for it here. I'm a little nervous that we only took 1. Final Days is good. We're still all in on just our flying army here. Y'all, I think I took 2. I think I did. I think we're fine taking 6 here. I'm going to go search. I think it's there. I think we have 2. Okay. We do. I got so nervous that we were going to search for nothing there. So here I do think the plan is Cloudbound Moogle. We'll put a 1/1 on the Wyvern, so we're attacking for 6 in the sky. That way next turn, even if they kill one of our things, we still have lethal in the air. And then now we're supposed to block pretty aggressively here. What's nice too is that the Final Days, those tokens come in tapped. Side quest Hunt the Mark is good. Another removal spell is pretty awesome for them. But if they don't have another removal spell, I think we're in a decent spot. This is an interesting attack. So I think we do want to block one of their things. I'm not sure entirely what the point of this attack is. If they want something of ours to die, well, let's be for real. I think that what happened is they don't think they get a treasure if something of ours doesn't die, even though they do get that treasure. But as things currently stand, we now have lethal in more than one way. So I think we're actually okay just taking 4 here. X-Death is good because they gain 3 life, which is a huge bummer. So they're at 7. We did draw a lane, which is good. So now, if we just... Alright, so we'll just take the X-Death. We'll make them put it on top of bottom of their deck. We'll auto-pay for that. And then we'll attack everywhere. They've got 2 blockers, so they'll block the 4 and the 2, and they'll take exactly 7. So earlier in the video, we lost by exactly 1 damage. And here, I think we're going to win by exactly 1 damage. And we do! We get there again! We're now 5-2 on the day. We're ripping through this run. All right, jumping into this next game, we go first. This hand is really slow, though. We have nothing to do on 2 or 3. I think this is probably a mulligan. I'm going to try to be disciplined and mulligan it here. I do think this is much better. I'm actually going to put back the sleep magic. I think us going white mage's staff into the wyvern into the rescue mission is going to be pretty good. Although if we draw 2 lands, I'll feel like a bit of an idiot. There's one. So here is our white mage's staff, which is pretty good. It's a 2/2. Item shopkeep is decent. So now we will just attack. If they want to trade, that is fine by me. I assume they will. And then we'll play out our Dragoon's Wyvern here. So we're going to get another Magitech Infantry. I doubt they'll attack us here. So that is an interesting draw. I do think now we'll probably just play out our other Dragoon's Wyvern. And I'm going to attack everywhere. They take 3, we'll play our other Dragoon's Wyvern out, and then we'll play our Crystal Fragments. So we've still got good blockers for the infantry with our hero, and then next turn we can start buffing up our Wyverns with both of these. Or we can just play out our Aerith Rescue Mission. Warrior's Sword is pretty good. Eject is really interesting. I think we're actually probably supposed to eject the token, because this allows us to now attack with our entire board. We get to draw a card as well, so now we can still equip one of the Wyverns, and we can still attack through their infantries here. So I think that was the right call. We're going to hit 10, and then next turn we can either equip the White Mage's Staff onto one of our Wyverns, or we can play the Rescue Mission. Opponent is drawing a card of the Weapons Vendor is pretty solid. I will say, I've noticed this has been doing some work today by boosting up some of our opponent's board states. So we draw another island, which is okay. I think now we want to play the rescue mission, so I'm just going to attack with the 2 flyers, and then hopefully that's enough to be lethal next turn, although I kind of doubt it will be. We're just going super wide here with a bunch of 1/1 tokens, and then we will actually move our equipment to one of those. I'm glad it highlighted. I forgot that was even there. And we'll end our turn there. So I do think I kind of like Crystal Fragments. Let me know what you think. I think it's actually been pretty decent today. Slash of Light is good. Delivery Moogle is also quite solid. So our opponent's done a good job of stabilizing here. So here we get the Grahatia, which is not a bad draw at all. So I think we play that. This is whenever 1 or more. So I don't see a huge need for us to attack with anything besides the Wyvern here. And then if they want to trade, we get a card off of it. Which I think we're totally cool with net exchange. Scorpion Sentinel is halfway decent. And then I do think we'll probably just put this on the Grahatia. If it dies, that's a bummer, but I think having a 4/6 with reach is pretty decent on this board state. So they are going to attack with a 5/3 here, which is kind of crazy. I think we block because we get to draw a card, which feels good. And we prevent the 5 damage. And now next turn we can transform the Crystal Fragments. Another Magitech Infantry is decent. White Auracite is really good. So now I think what we're going to do is we're going to Auracite the Ifrit. We're going to attack with all of our tokens. guess we should probably attack with the Grahatia as well. But I'm going to play this really conservatively and attack with every token, so that they sort of have to block. And when they do, we get to draw a card with our Grahatia here. And we're still clearing out their board a little bit. Although I do think they have a spell in their hand. We'll see what it is. So they're down to 4. We get to draw another card. Retrieve the Esper is honestly worse than the Sentinel right now. So let's play the Sentinel. And hopefully this is enough here. So looks like they are going to buff their board up a little bit here. I do think now we're probably supposed to equip attack with the Scorpion Sentinel, and then also with the hero. We could also just like transform this. Yeah, let's do that. And then we're preventing damage to every creature we control this turn. So we kind of get some free attacks in with the Grahatia and the Scorpion Sentinel. All right, and we get there again. We are ripping through this draft. All right, ripping through this draft. All of a sudden, we're playing for a trophy. We are 6-2 with this weird-looking deck. Just goes to show you, curving out can be really good in Magic. And remember, if I win this game, if I get a trophy today, I'm giving away a draft to one of you. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you like this, and comment down below, and hopefully I can get this win. We're going to keep this opening hand. I think this is decent. We unfortunately do not get to go first, which is a little bit of a bummer, but I do think us having the Ultros and the White Mage's Staff into a Wyvern is pretty dang good here. So we're going to keep this. I will say Freya Crescent can be really strong, though, so there's a chance we get beaten down here. Yeah, Dragoon's Lance is also great. I will say Dragoon's Wyvern hopefully can slow that down. So here I'm more interested in playing the Ultros, because next turn we can play the Wyvern, and then after that, if we draw a Plains, we can play the Auracite, kill something, and tap something down. I take everything I just said back. We're just going to take 3 here. Zach Fair is also good, so we're getting out aggroed right now. Hopefully our Wyvern can stick next turn and can slow them down just a bit here. So this is equip 4. I do think we are actually pretty okay with blocking this and slowing down our opponent. Hopefully we can draw a land next turn, specifically a Plains, and use the White Auracite. Warrior Sword is decent. We do get a Plains. This is huge. So now that kind of ramps our mana as well. So the Warrior Sword is equipped 5. They currently have 4 mana. So because they don't have a bunch of mana currently to equip things, I'm going to take the token that is attached to the Warrior Sword, because it's equipped 5. If they spend their whole turn doing that, I think that's okay. And I think for me, I'm really interested in... What did they have here? It's just indestructible. Okay, thank goodness. I was afraid it was hexproof for a second. And so next turn they can equip one of those things, but then eventually hopefully our Grahatia can come in and get us some value by both trading and also having reach. And if not that, then the Cloudbound Moogle. So that's kind of my idea here. We are going to take a bit of a hit here. We're going to take 4. But then hopefully our Grahatia can stick. So I do think we're just going to play that here. And not attack. I do think we're okay with trading this with their Zach Fair. Think of it flying, it's not ideal. But hopefully our Cloudbound Moogle can help us to put a counter on the Grahatia and actually block that. I don't think they have a removal spell in hand. So we're going to go for that here. And hopefully this is enough. Coeurl is pretty good. So it's going to be able to tap down our Graha Tia, which is solid. I think now we're probably just going to play a Galacat into a White Mage's Staff. And that way we can double block with the Galacat and the Cloudbound Moogle because we gave it the +2/+0. We'll see. If they draw a Moogle spell, we're just kind of toasted here. Okay, we make it through that turn, which is great. A great sign. So now I think we'll start by just attacking with the Galacat here. Keeping up the You're Not Alone is going to be really good too, so we can potentially try and kill something of theirs. So now we'll just play our Retrieve the Esper. Next turn we also can make a 5/5 with that, and then we're just going to keep playing really conservatively here. I don't want to play out the Scorpion Sentinel. I want to potentially keep up the You're Not Alone, because I might go double tap down. Does 8 damage. I do think we're going to save it. So it does not die. And then they can still only tap down one thing here, so we can still double block, which feels good. Okay, we make it through that turn. So now, what to do? I think we're probably supposed to Magitech Infantry. I'm going to start by just continuing to attack with the Galacat. Doesn't feel incredible. And we're just going to Magitech Infantry into the Scorpion Sentinel. And then on their turn, we'll get another Magitech Infantry. It's nothing fantastic, but I think we just need to continue playing conservatively so that we don't get killed by their Zac Fair somehow. So now we do kind of need to... We might have to single block the Zac Fair, which doesn't feel great. And we get there! Huge! We get the trophy today with this hilarious looking deck. I don't know how this deck trophy. I mean, I do. We curved out. Our opponents typically were in like slower decks, and we end up getting there today. We get to 7 wins, which is so exciting. Here's the deck that gets it done. It was a deck. I will say, Ice Magic is insane. If you see this card, pick this card. It's so good. I think you saw today why it's so incredible. And then Dragon's Wyvern also just did some solid work for us. And we are giving away a draft. So the way this works is I'll go to one of your comments down below. I will shoot you my email. Send me an email, and I will send you the funds so you can draft for free on Magic the Gathering Arena. Thank you all so much for watching. This was a blast. Until next time.